challenging weekend. That and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beach. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
You know what they say about elephants, that elephants never forget?
Mm-hmm.
They did a scientific study of someone that they saw even after 12 years.
Wow.
So they recognize a face that they haven't seen for a dozen years, maybe like a trainer or someone they were around, and that the plant's largest land mammal can recall a relative they haven't seen in more than a decade just from the smell of their droppings.
Ew. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, they have a large database of data points to be able to remember from. He is a 5-time winner of the coveted Ohio Newshawk Award. He's the 2-time Silver Sound nominee, covering every corner of the globe: London, Budapest, Rio, Tokyo, and even Litchfield. He's Sam Gormley and the Sparks. Morning, Sam.
Morning, Ralph.
How you doing?
Good. Looks like looks like the wind might have taken your camera out.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to make a call to the bullpen really quick.
It looks like it took a link out of my chair, too.
Yeah, it seems like your camera's now been fixed, but I felt like
I look like Edith Ann sitting down in the big chair, in the big rocking chair.
Something was better than nothing.
You remember there was a power outage on Friday?
Well, no, it wasn't. I don't think it's connected to that. So
Really? Interesting.
Because none of the other ones had issues. So maybe it's trying to tell you something.
I finally broke the camera. I knew it was only a matter of time. Well, I know you've got short sleeves on today, which means you're ready for spring sports, right? Every day we get closer.
Yeah, week.
We're at the point, next week you start, but then also you get conference basketball tournaments, well, the big conferences this week, and then we'll have the selection Sunday on Sunday when the time changes, and so it's going to be here before we know it. Are you excited?
Oh, yeah. When I was watching conference tournaments all weekend, for the most part.
Yeah, there were some, like the smaller, like the mid-major conferences. They have a longer break until the NCAA tournament. Is that good, bad? Does it matter?
They do it because of TV, because they can get onto ESPN and so on.
Yeah.
But, I mean, John Pelfrey, did you see John Pelfrey ran the Leitner play?
I actually saw. No, I didn't see him run the Leitner play. I saw your tweets, and it looked like.
Well, he ran the Leitner play, and they called it as a 3, and that would have given them the win, so they celebrated, and then they said, oh, not so fast. It was a 2. They went into overtime and then lost overtime.
Yeah, I do like Pelfrey's move, though. I mean, hey, lean into it, right? If it costs you in one case, maybe it benefits you on the other side. We're going to see a warmer and breezy outlook to start the week. We're going to see near record warmth today. The record in Louisville is 77. That was set in 1956. We could see 78 across the region today under partly cloudy skies, mostly cloudy. 43 tonight, partly cloudy, and a high of 58 on Tuesday. Then deeper into the week, back in the 50s, the lower 50s for your highs on Wednesday and Thursday. 60 on Friday, and then just go ahead and remind you, I do see a little snowflake in the weather graphic for Sunday, where our high on Sunday, the first day of daylight saving time, will only be 44. Monday will also be 44, so winter isn't going just yet. So enjoy your warmer temperatures today because it's the highest that you're going to see for a while. The weekend, a very dynamic weekend in the aftermath of the storms that blew through on really a windstorm. Was what it was on Friday afternoon. We saw heavy rains on Friday morning, but never anything overly severe in 42754 and adjacents. We did see some very strong line storms go up through Central City, then up through Breckinridge County, and then we saw a line go up through southeastern Grayson County, but primarily across through Hart County, but sort of split on both sides of Grayson County primarily. But then the winds arrived on Friday afternoon about 1 o'clock, and they just packed a wallop for everyone. If you've never lived or been in the middle of a hurricane, that's the closest that you're going to come on Friday, with sustained winds of that speed for that length of time. There have been a couple times that I've been in Florida for some minor hurricanes. You know, they were not worthy of evacuating, but they were significant storms, and they're more than your average thunderstorm. It's that long, sustained wind. Louisville International recorded a gust of 79 miles per hour, which I think anything above 70 is considered a hurricane. If not 70, then 80. So maybe it didn't technically qualify. But signs down, including ours. Lots of
yeah, I watched that happen.
You did. You saw it. You saw it happen.
Might even have it on video.
Well, and so then lots of lines down, lots of trees down, and just spent the entire weekend of so many different trees leaning over on lines that it really caused a lot of hardship for the electrical crews who are having to get out. And it's one thing when you see a line or one line is blown down and it severs a main line and they can repair it. But at the height of the storm in Kentucky, or at the height of the outage in Kentucky, there were what are being called 400,000 people. But I think the only metric that they have to track that is customers. So that's 400,000 customers, which means probably double that in the way of people, because chances are you're not dealing in households of just one person. But as of this morning, there are 157,000 in Kentucky without power, more than 2,400 in Grayson County, and that there were about 2,400 as of, I think, this morning. And then those are split up among different.
This is. I pulled this about 20 minutes before the show.
20 minutes or so. Okay, so 44 KU customers, 135 Farmers RECC customers. So that's going to be over around the lake.
Yeah, like wax, right?
Yeah, you're going to see Meade County. No, Meade County is down around. Meade County is off in the Tar Hill direction. Farmers is more in the Falls of Rough direction. Nolan RECC with 0 customers out. That would be down around Wax in that area. And then Warren RECC in Grayson County, which is the major provider, has 2,000 still remaining. Regionally, still a large number. There were 335 or so Caneyville area customers on KU that were out until about 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. And then that was restored. Now, the governor says, I thought the governor updated his number to somewhere between 5 and 10, but we know at least 5 people lost their lives in the storms on Friday, including a 23-year-old Edmonson County man named Dakota Davis, who was involved in a tree falling on his apartment on Rocky Hill Road. That happened on Friday. Also, during the high winds, multiple people were injured after a passenger car crossed the median on the parkway and struck a tractor trailer. Happened about 3:25, like right in the highest portions of the wind. LFD and Grayson County Sheriff's Office and EMS responded to near the 101-mile marker, where a Honda Civic crossed the median and struck an eastbound M&L trucking semi directly on the driver's side tank. You know, they have the gas tank strapped to the side of it. The impact punctured the tank, spilled diesel fuel, and they had to clean up that diesel fuel from the roadway. So they had to close the parkway for a while to be able to work that scene. The female driver of the Honda and 2 juveniles were transported to Owensboro Health with non-life-threatening injuries. The male driver of the truck was uninjured. A young Breckinridge County man has died in a 2-vehicle accident that happened last Thursday morning, about 9:40 on Highway 60 near Irvington. Police said the preliminary investigation indicated a 2014 Honda passenger car driven by 21-year-old Jacob Gardner of Irvington was traveling west on 60 when an eastbound Mack truck being driven by 39-year-old Corey Calloway of Rockport, Indiana, crossed the center line. Police said Calloway tried to steer back into his lane, but the driver's side rear portion of the truck struck the Honda. The Brett County Coroner's Office pronounced Gardner deceased at the scene. He was a 2020 graduate of Breckinridge County High School. 3 fire departments responded to multiple woods fires in the Wax area yesterday. The biggest of them was in the 300 block of Old Hilltop Doug Hill Road, where a barn had a tractor, a boat motor, some other things were destroyed. The fire also burned a four-wheeler and several other items on the property. Got very close to burning down a home as well. The large blaze charred several acres on the hillside behind the Wax Water Tower just off Peonia Road. And then fires also erupted on Lush Cemetery Road, Blue Springs Road, and Doug Hill Road. About 20 acres in total were burned. Hard for me to believe it's dry enough to burn like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, structures clearly can. But burning brush and stuff, you don't expect as much of that. All right, state news, or at least the legislature. I lose track of how they allocate their days. We're over the halfway point of that session now. It's just a 30-day session, but they spend those days in small increments to get a longer period of time. The Kentucky House passed a school discipline bill Friday that's aimed at diffusing classroom disruptions by allowing teachers to take immediate action to remove unruly students. Representative Timmy Truitt said the disciplinary steps allowed under the measure aren't intended to increase student suspensions or expulsions, but action is needed because teachers, staff, and students deserve a learning environment free from disruptive behavior. The proposal won House passage on an 89-6 vote, sending the measure to the Senate. It comes as lawmakers consider ways to improve teacher recruitment and retention to help overcome the Bluegrass State's shortage of classroom educators. Under the bill, a teacher could immediately remove a student from class for being disruptive. The student wouldn't return to that class for the rest of the day without agreement from the teacher and a school administrator. Student removed from the same classroom 3 times within 30 days would be considered chronically disruptive and could be suspended from school. Over the last 20 years, we certainly have taken away a lot of the tools that educators need in order to maintain order and minimize disruptions in their classrooms. And so many students and teachers for that, and parents for that matter, know or think, hey, they can't do anything to me, so they have no incentive to behave or make better decisions. Long time ago, back in the Conestoga wagon days when I went to school, I had educators that when paddling was certainly more of a thing and more often used, because it could be, the paddle often hung on the wall in a classroom. And I always observed in those classrooms, the paddle was rarely used because it was on display as far as it being a possibility. And so if you have, say you're a parent and you have children, and once your children realize you either can't or won't do something to encourage their behavior one way or another, then they act completely differently. So if there's no punishment, that's what Matt Jones say, a rule is not a rule without punishment or consequences. If you know you're going to be removed from the classroom or you could possibly be suspended, it might encourage you to do things differently. But our teachers are being punched, our teachers are being bit, our teachers are being shoved, they're being assaulted, and then in a lot of cases, those students are just allowed to return back to the classroom either later that day or the next day, and that is an additional reason that teachers are probably leaving the profession. Maybe we should give them a helmet and shoulder pads to go to class. So I would imagine that bill will move forward. Now, I also don't think we should just return to the days of paddling just because we want to paddle. But we've got to find
Absolutely not.
We got to find that
should never be a case ever again.
We got to find that balance somewhere that incentivizes students to not be disruptive to their fellow students and not interfere with their educational process. A proposal to ban devices resembling slot machines stalled Friday in the Kentucky House, creating more uncertainty over whether lawmakers will resolve the intensely lobbied issue. The debate revolves around cash payout games that have proliferated in stores across the Bluegrass State. Supporters refer to them as legal skill games, while others dub them as gray machines, and that's because of their kind of murky legal status is how they got that name. It's not because they're gray. The bill aimed at banning the machines cleared a House committee on a 13-7 vote Thursday evening, teeing up the bill for action in the full House. But in a dramatic turn of events on Friday, House members instead approved a motion to table the measure, House Bill 594. Apparently all those green T-shirts were effective in being visible and caused the legislature to at least temporarily pause on this issue. Again, I'm not saying they shouldn't have. I should.
You know my philosophy.
Yeah, absolutely. One, they're not skill games. Two, if you want to have gambling, have it. Just don't have gambling and then tell me that it's something else. It's just
legalize it.
Authorities. Oh, did see where there is another train derailment in Ohio. This one posed no public risk, at least certainly to the level of the one in East Palestine. And I don't know, Sam, do you happen to know how far East Palestine is from Springfield?
No.
You got any? I don't know Ohio enough to know that either.
Do they have a Moe's and a Krusty Burger?
Yes, they do. And I think we know who owns the railroad.
Mr. Burns
That's right. Mr. Burns owns the railroad. So anyway, I did see a video of where this latest derailment started, and it's amazing how long the train continues to go, even after you can tell the cars that are going to trigger the derailment. It is kind of an impressive, impressive thing to see.
Springfield's in between Dayton and Columbus, so it's quite a ways.
And so, where's East Palestine? I'm not even sure where
near
in the state
near that city near.
Oh, the one you don't like to talk about.
No, yeah.
I got it. Have you been keeping track with any of the third region tournaments? Do you know
Owensboro Catholic won the girls.
Catholic won the girls.
And then it's Catholic Owensboro and the boys.
Oh, shout out to the 11th district. Yeah.
9th.
On their home floor.
9th district. But
9th,
yes,
right.
Yes.
Right.
11th.
Yeah.
I mean, you could give a shout out to Breck, Meade, Hancock, and Cloverport, but
they're not as good as the 12th, but they're close. I also didn't get to see the game on Saturday. A lot of people didn't because they didn't have electricity. Weren't able to listen to it either because unless they sat in their car and weren't able to enjoy. But in the beginning, if you had said that Oscar would foul out early, if you said that the point guard and the backup point guard were both not to play, and the Cats would win with that amount on the road at the armpit of America, I wouldn't have believed you that they would win. Would you have believed it?
Yeah, no, they played well. Antonio Reeves, I think 37 points, which is his career high. He was great. It was a physical game. My goodness, they almost were playing football out there.
51 fouls or something.
I don't know the number, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was even more than that.
I saw the number.
It was a very, very physical game. It was fun to watch, though. There's no question about that.
Especially beating them and then all their white T-shirts, and then they get sent to the exits early. That's extra good because, as you know, Arkansas is one of the stinkiest places ever. So both those teams then will be in Nashville starting middle of the week to get ready for the SEC tournament this weekend. Got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got plenty more on the way. Hang around here on In the Know.
For more than 70 years, Owensboro Health Twin Lakes Medical Center has cared for the health of our friends, neighbors, and family members in Grayson County and beyond. We've celebrated every beautiful newborn, every successful surgery, and every healed injury. Owensboro Health Twin Lakes Medical Center is focused on finding solutions to your health challenges. As part of the Owensboro Health System, we want to keep you healthy. We want to make you proud.
Thinking about furthering your education? At Elizabethtown Community and Technical College, you'll get a high-quality education close to home at a cost that won't break the bank. Enjoy small class sizes with professors who take a personal interest in your success. ECTC's Litchfield campus is now enrolling for classes that start March 13th. Call 270-259-1540 or visit elizabethtown.kctcs.edu to get started. ECTC. College for the real world.
Are you looking for a stable career with excellent benefits, 401k match, paid time off, and tuition reimbursement? Cormark is here. We're ready to support you and your career goals. When you join us, you'll discover a culture that encourages you to grow and challenges you to achieve. We embrace each employee as family. With our incentive pay structure, your earnings per hour are unlimited. Show us your commitment, and we'll show you how to earn the money you deserve. Call a recruiter today, 270-259-9341. Cormark is an equal opportunity employer.
2 U.S. senators are urging Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg not to allow teenagers into the company's Horizon Worlds. Early last month, reports suggested that Meta would allow teens to use the app to boost the user base and justify the billions of dollars that the company has invested into the metaverse. Horizon Worlds is officially only available to adults. Ford is going to restart production of the electric F-150 Lightning trucks on March the 13th, weeks after battery issues caused one of the trucks to catch fire. The February the 4th fire broke out during a quality check while the vehicle was charging. The automaker says the delay will give its battery supplier time to build up production and get batteries to the factory in Michigan. An activist hedge fund manager has taken a passive stake in AMD. Third Point's Dan Lieb took the bet when the chipmaker shares struggled and were down more than 30% over the past 12 months. The stock has since bounced back this year by 21%. And Tesla plans to slash the use of silicon carbide transistors by 75%. Some see Tesla's move as a harbinger for the industry. Check report, Mark Meeks.
Just imagine. Nothing I can see but you when you dance, dance, dance. Feel good, good creeping up on you. So just dance, dance, dance. Come on. All those things I shouldn't do, but you dance, dance, dance.
Today is Fun Facts About Names Day. It's part of Celebrate Your Name Week. It's Frozen Food Day. Boy, life is a lot more convenient with frozen food. It's not always the best, but it certainly is convenient. It's Oreo Cookie Day today.
Except it wasn't so convenient on Friday.
It's Alamo Day. Sam's always really impressed with the Alamo. And
It was very disappointing.
yesterday was Taylor Buckles Beal's 30th birthday.
That is so crazy.
She hit the big 3-0.
Did you celebrate?
Well, in our own way. We didn't get to see her yesterday, but we will soon, and we'll celebrate accordingly. I will tell you, I mean, of course, talk to her, and then made the obligatory post of little bitty baby her on my shoulders, and then also then walking her down the aisle. I thought those were good bookends. Mm-hmm. Like, I started out with you on my shoulders, and now you're on my arm type of deal. But I will tell you, it felt a little milestone-ish. I remember my dad talking about me turning 30. They're like, the first time he went, whoa, I got a kid that's 30. Like, so it doesn't feel completely overwhelming in that regard. But when I did ask her, what is it that you would like for your birthday? She said, I'm just happy to be blessed to have another. Huh. And I thought, no, you're not. You don't get to do that. You're not at that age. Like you're not so old where you go, well, I'm just blessed to keep having birthdays. 30 is not old, right? 30 is especially not currently old. It might have been old 20 years ago. It's not old now. But I thought, no, you don't get to do that. You know, where you start talking about your bursitis and your bunions and that stuff. And boy, I just don't know if I can blow out all those candles. So.
Yeah, I struggled with the appropriate, like what I wanted to say. Like I wanted to say, you make 30 look good. But, you know, we're beyond that now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like 30 is not old. I mean, she obviously looks good at 30, but I mean, I don't know. I deliberated back and forth. And
I don't know. If you ask Alea, she'd probably say 30 is pretty old.
Yes, she would.
I did ask her yesterday afternoon. I said, did Mama tell you today is Taylor's birthday? Yes. Do you know how old she is? She said 30.
Just say it's all in the eye of the beholder.
It's all about perspective, isn't it? Yeah, indeed.
I'm sure even to Alea, I'm old.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She wonders how you don't get around without a cane. You're so old.
Well, there was the time where I needed the cane.
Yes.
I don't know though, Sam. There's something about you. I think when Alea looks at you, because you kid around with her, and when you all go back and forth over the donuts
and she throws all of my
you may not seem
balls.
as old to her as what you think. Yeah,
perhaps.
So I'm more of like a 6-year-old.
I wasn't really saying that,
in a good way. In a good way. If days like today are making you want to do summer or a spring travel planning, I did run across a list of the 10 best beaches in the United States. I even have the top 10 in the world in case you're interested. But the 10 best beach in the United States, 10th is La Jolla Cove out in La Jolla, California, down SoCal. The 9th is the Ogunquit Beach in Maine.
Okay.
Maine has the 9th best beach in the country. Impressive. Coronado Beach is number 8. That's also down SoCal. Number 7 is Cannon Beach in Oregon. I did go a long time ago. I was on a planning conference trip, and I did went up to Northern California, Southern Oregon, and some of those beaches. That Pacific coastline out there.
Well, my grandparents lived in Northern California forever on the beach.
They did?
In Trinidad.
That coastline out there is just so amazing. It's unlike SoCal. SoCal's good, but when the cliffs and the rocks, and it's very impressive. At number 6, Henderson Beach State Park in Destin is the 6th best beach in the United States. Not been there. I'll have to take their word for it, but a little bit surprising.
Well, it's not far from where you all will sometimes beach, so maybe you'll have to make the short trek over to try it out.
No, I'm not going to Destin. Sorry.
Not even for the 6th best?
I don't think so. Number 5, Ho'okipa Beach Park in Maui. Been there. Hanalei Beach on Kauai at 4. Not been there. Number 3, Driftwood Beach on Jekyll Island, Georgia. You talk to the people who say they've been to Jekyll Island. They say it's wonderful. Number 2 is Siesta Beach in Siesta Key, Florida. And the number 1 beach in the United States is Ka'anapali Beach over on Maui's west shore. It is a beautiful beach. It's one of those beaches that, I don't know if it's little fleas or what, but when you walk that beach at night, it has these little blue little lights, these iridescent flakes that are in it. It's really impressive.
I used to know the name of those.
They're sand flies or fleas or I don't know. But Ka'anapali Beach is the best beach in America. It's the 10th best beach in the world. But the number 1 beach in the world is apparently a name that I can't say, Baía do Sancho in Fernando de Noronha, Brazil.
Noronha or Naranja?
Noronha.
Orange.
Noronha.
Okay, no, then never mind. Because Naranja is orange, so I didn't know if that was...
Second is a beach in Aruba.
Jamaica.
Portugal's in there. Turks and Caicos is in there. Iceland. Sicily. Okay. India has even got the 7th best beach in the world. These 5 sleeping tips will help improve your overall chances of living longer. Oh, well, if it's that simple, then bring it on.
So did you have to send these to Taylor then, since she's...
Yeah, start sliding her this information. 7 or 8 hours of sleep a night. Okay.
Got it.
Difficulty falling asleep no more than twice a week. Do you really control that? Like, who goes, I think I'm going to have difficulty falling asleep tonight. I think you just either do or you don't. But putting down your devices sooner, and that probably helps. Trouble staying asleep no more than twice a week. Well, also, who does that? Do you just say, I think about 3 o'clock, I'm going to have trouble staying asleep just to see how it feels? I don't think that's think that's an elective.
Set alarm in the middle of the night?
Not using any sleep medication and feeling well rested when waking up at least 5 days a week. So young Miss Alea went to bed just a few minutes earlier than normal yesterday because everyone was worn out. But I noticed this morning she perked right up. She was like, let's go. And now she mentioned she didn't want to go do math at school, but she was ready to go instead of the days of her, she just walking around like a zombie. So waking up feeling refreshed is important. Here's another headline that might be of interest to you. Kids who do these 12 things have highly sensitive brains. Kids who do these 12 things have highly sensitive brains. Now, it's the empathy advantage of highly sensitivity kids. Can you say highly sensitivity? I think that's I don't think you could say those two words together. Does your child have a highly sensitive brain? And by this, I mean in a good way, a sensitive brain, not, oh, you're sensitive. I mean, sensitive. Number 1, they notice subtle details such as a teacher's new outfit or when furniture has been removed or moved. Yes. Number 2.
Are you doing these for Alea or okay?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, well,
I didn't know if this is for-
anytime the least little thing, if it's out, and Band-Aids. Like if you got a Band-Aid anywhere, oh, you got a Band-Aid. Other people's moods really affect them. They easily absorb emotions from others, taking on their feelings as if they were their own. Number 3, they have a hard time shaking intense emotions like anger or worry. Number 4, they complain when things feel off. Scratchy bed sheets, itchy clothing labels, or tight waistbands.
Oh, Lordy.
What, it sound a little familiar?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Number 5, they feel stressed and fatigued in loud, busy environments like gyms or perfume counters because of the strong odors. Number 6, they hate feeling rushed and prefer to do things more carefully. Number 7, they respond better to gentle correction rather than to harsh discipline. 8, they make insightful comments and seem wise for their age. 9, they have a clever sense of humor. Number 10, they read people well and can infer with surprising accuracy what they are thinking or feeling. Number 11, they refuse to eat certain foods because of the smells or textures.
Oh.
And number 12, they startle easily at sudden noises like when something sneaks up on them.
Those are pretty fitting.
But she's so determined, though, she doesn't want to get surprised at something. She's determined to be the surpriser.
Oh, yes. And it drives her crazy
always-
that, I mean, she can rarely get me. And that was some of her mood this morning. Because after she got back from the restroom, she hid in the closet, and I didn't know that she came back from the restroom. So she got me. And I'm very hard to sneak up on when it comes to her.
Well, she loves to hide.
But she loves it.
But she also will give herself away.
Yes.
Because she
giggling?
gets
Yes.
tickled at herself.
She
and
thinks she is so quiet. And she'll be like, Mama, how did you know I was such and such?
Feet under the bed or
I
something
can
like that?
hear you.
But those sensitivity brains and then those, those things, it makes a whole lot of sense. I take you to Lincoln County, Tennessee, where residents of Lincoln County, which is a community of 35,000 in southern Tennessee, say they've had enough of the black mold quickly coating their homes, streets, and public spaces, and they're ready to make Jack Daniels fix it. So this is near the area of Lynchburg where Jack Daniels is made. The mold, known as some weird scientific name that I'm not going to try to pronounce and it doesn't benefit you to know, is nicknamed whiskey fungus. It grows thanks to the ethanol vapor given off by whiskey distilleries, or in this case, the one by Jack Daniels located in town. In 2018, the liquor company built 6 barrel houses there and was going to construct 14 more before a recent lawsuit curtailed those plans. So, because of the air quality, they just get this coating on the outside of their house called whiskey fungus. Now, makes me wonder.
If you lick it, do you get a little?
Well, I don't think I want to give it a. I don't think I want to give it a try. You can drive down there and give it a try.
Let us know.
I don't know that I want to lick anything in
But it
Tennessee.
does make definitely,
I'm surprised you
definitely
even
not.
said that.
But it makes me wonder. Are you
Whiskey fungus, right?
You go anywhere on the Bourbon Trail in all these towns where we have these distilleries? Is it also a thing?
Bardstown?
Do we have bourbon fungus somewhere in the state? I don't know the answer to
I think
that.
that's called
but
Morgantown.
It's possible. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got more on the way. You're on In the Know.
Kids across America are going to school hungry. Millions of kids every day. But one simple thing can help change all of this for a hungry child in America. good healthy food, and the energy it brings. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. To learn more about ending child hunger in America, go to helpnokidhungry.org today.
Stay away from downed power lines and keep others away as well. If you spot a downed line or need to report outage, call KU at 800-981-0600. To track restoration, visit lge-ku.com/storm.
Down, set, 8-1-1, 8-1-1.
The best football teams always get the call right, and you need to make the right call before you excavate. If you don't and you damage a natural gas line, the Kentucky Public Service Commission will investigate, and you could be fined up to $1,250. So make the right call. Put safety first. Call 811 before you dig.
Touchdown! Oh my goodness!
This message brought to you by the Kentucky Public Service Commission.
Maybe you're not one of those frequent flyers, but sometimes you just want to hit the beach. Or see your new granddaughter. Or go to that out-of-state wedding. Whatever the reason for your getaway, if it involves flying in the U.S. or visiting a military base after May 7th, 2025, you'll need a Kentucky Real ID driver's license or an ID that is Real ID compliant. Make a plan to get your Kentucky Real ID now. Go to realidky.com.
The Kentucky Department for Community-Based Services is hiring. DCBS invites you to be part of an inclusive team of caring professionals that helps all Kentucky families through a rewarding career in family support or social services. They have job openings in their county offices across the state and offer great benefits like hybrid work schedule, competitive salary, paid holidays, and many opportunities for training and promotions, plus state employee discounts. Go online to chfs.ky.gov and enter DCBS jobs in the search field. It's a new day at DCBS. Join them, an equal opportunity employer MFD.
Could you use monthly payments to help meet basic needs, like putting food on the table, paying the rent, or buying new shoes for growing feet? Find out about Supplemental Security Income. You may qualify if your income and financial resources are low and you are 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability or who is blind. Call 1-800-772-1213 or go to ssa.gov/SSI. Produced by Social Security at U.S. taxpayer expense.
That boy of mine, he sure does take after me. I love football, he loves football. I put ketchup on my eggs, he puts ketchup on his. I didn't wear my seatbelt, neither did he. So nothing's gonna be the same ever again. So please, show your kids what a good driver does. Buckle up and put your phone down.
Paid with funds through the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
Twin Lakes weather. We'll see a mix of sun and clouds across the region for today. Highs in the 70s, breezy at times with gusts between 20 and 30 miles per hour. A cold front moves through tonight, bringing a few showers across the region, but most of us look to stay dry as we fall down into the 40s. From the Wave News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrews.
Hand, touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Sweet Caroline.
Did you know an average person will forget 80% of what they learned today?
I do not doubt that.
Average person will forget 80% of what they learned today. Is today's Did You Know?
Well, I know you probably run into that with Alea, too. What'd you do at school today? I don't know.
Oh, my goodness. What did you have for lunch today? I don't remember.
Try to change my tactics. I ask things like, what was the best part of your day? What was the worst part of your day? And then I'm not 100% consistent.
Lunch? Recess, yeah.
Recess.
That was going to be the
Well, it
second
depends
guess.
on what specials day it was.
Yeah.
Would you not like
recess
math?
always wins out.
Yeah.
Well, especially today.
But I have
probably
started
gonna go
her.
outside and...
So, by the way, I found out something. I heard a story at home that I think maybe be able to tie back to some encouragement she gets. Is that not 100% of the time, but quite frequently I try to ask, did you help someone today? Like, and then so she'll say sometimes, well, no, like you didn't see someone that needed help or needed, help picking something up or do whatever. And she sometimes just kind of yeahs and goes on, but you can tell that it's back there. And so she was courageous about something the other day in helping the entire class in a sticky spot that I thought, well, okay, all right. That's maybe a byproduct of trying to be helpful. The weekend box office. The weekend title goes to Creed 3 with a $58.7 million opening, and Creed 3 sets the record for the biggest ever box office opening for a sports movie. Been a lot of successful sports movies in their time, but none with a bigger opening than Creed 3.
Yes, when you think about it, though, a lot of sports movies are like more your nostalgia, like they're more consistent, I guess would be probably it, is that, like The Sandlot or something is still going to get its views 25 years, or 30, in fact, the 30-year anniversary of Sandlot's later this month, I think. But
You're killing
so
me,
it's
Smalls.
It's like the more
I
consistent
say that
views.
all the time. No, I said it yesterday to her. You're killing me, Smalls.
Number,
She
she's
said,
probably,
quick, she said,
probably
quick.
has no idea, does she?
Well, she doesn't, but she said, quit calling me Smalls.
Ant-Man and the Wasp at number 2, Cocaine Bear at 3. So Creed 3 opens with $58.7 million. Cocaine Bear does $11 million in third place. Quite the swing between first and third. 80s for Brady still holding on in the top 10. Of course, there's not much else. I think there's only about 10 movies that are out. So get ready. I got a notification from Netflix about 8:30 on Saturday, but just didn't feel like making the commitment because if I were going to watch it, if I were going to start it, I knew I would want to watch it. But Netflix's move into the live space began on Saturday with their live streaming of Chris Rock's new special that they did at Baltimore's Hippodrome Theater. And it's available on demand, but in that world of where we lack shared experience on a lot of things, Netflix was at least saying, well, we can still have shared experience by all watching this live for the first time. He had deliberately not talked about the best thing that could happen for him getting slapped at the Oscars was then to turn it into material that he could use to earn a living from, and he did. My understanding is he saved it until the end, and it was kind of his closer. And he emptied both barrels on Jada. Like he set it up. Oh, I mean it was, he did not pull any punches.
Or any slaps.
Or any slaps. He said, everybody knows it happened. I got smacked a year ago. I got smacked at the Oscars by this guy. And people are like, did it hurt? He said, it still hurts. He said, I've got Summertime ringing in my ear.
I heard that clip this morning, and that made me chuckle.
He went on to say that he wasn't a victim. You'll never see me on Oprah crying. Never going to happen. He said, I couldn't believe it, and I loved Men in Black. I took that hit like Pacquiao. Did it hurt? Yes, it hurt. And then he just goes on to know how he loved Will Smith, and he, coming up, and he raised, but then he.
So it doesn't sound like they're friendly.
No, they are not. They are not friendly, and
because
so
you didn't know if it was going to be one of these things where he'd be doing the stand up, and Will Smith would come out in the middle of it, and they'd bro hug it out, and we're good.
So Will Smith slapped him a year ago. Well, Chris Rock just slapped Will Smith on Saturday night with his material, and you tell me which is more effective. I don't know. Then if you rolled right out of Chris Rock's 90-minute set, you could have rolled right into SNL, where Travis Kelce was the host. I've tried to watch it twice and was not entertained on either front. So I'll probably skim into Weekend Update at some point in time this week just to see their headlines and then keep on moving from there.
I've not seen not even 20 seconds of it.
His monologue was about what you would expect.
I heard his brother showed up.
His brother was there. His parents were there. His brother made the monologue, really. What if it was any good, it was because of his brother. And I just didn't feel like the few opening sketches were even remotely funny. And I think that sort of they usually lead with their best stuff, and I thought, well, this is an indication of how this is going. The highlight of it might have been Kelsey Ballerini, and I don't know. I'm sure I'll recognize a song that she sings, but I can't name one. Another headline, Adam Silver, the NBA's commissioner, is reportedly on the short list to replace Bob Iger as Disney's CEO.
This is interesting. Wow. I can't tell whether that would be a better job or not.
So Bob Iger is the former CEO that when Bob Chapek ran the company in the ground or they couldn't course correct after COVID, Bob Chapek was the scapegoat. He was the collateral damage that said, sorry, you got to go somewhere else and we got to reset the table. Bob Iger comes in as a steadying influence, but not for the long haul, just to have that steady person at the helm while they figure out who's next. Silver's done a pretty good job with the NBA.
See, Silver, usually the commissioner is not a popular figure amongst fans, and I think most fans like him.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you look, Manfred, obviously, not well-liked. Goodell, not well-liked. I know that people really don't like the NHL commissioner.
I think it's also fun not to like Goodell, but all in all, I think NFL fans would probably admit that Goodell is good for the league. All in all.
Sometimes.
My biggest concern about Adam Silver is he looks like he can't work for Disney and look like a Harry Potter character.
Listen, he's done a great job with the NBA.
I know, but can't you see what I'm saying? I don't know.
Well, maybe we can get Taylor in it. She's got the Disney background, right?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, yeah.
Or you.
She's got more experience with the Disney company than Adam Silver.
This is true. Although
she's
the biggest TV deal that Adam Silver deals with is through Disney, technically.
That's true, but he doesn't
ESPN.
work for them.
He does not. And she did.
And a new survey says people who rock a mullet are more free-spirited and spontaneous. Being a free spirit, somewhat mischievous, and doing the unexpected top a list of attributes those with the 80s-inspired look believe that they have. They've even ranked the top 20 celebrity mullets of all time.
Billy Ray number one?
Billy Ray is on the list.
Not number one?
But he is not number one. He's not even in the top 10. Rihanna at 20, Brad Pitt at 19, Dolly Parton at 18. I've never seen a picture of Dolly with a mullet.
Mm-mm.
Dolly's had that same classic Dolly look forever.
Like Buffon.
Yeah, so I would be surprised to see that she had a mullet. Paul McCartney at 17, I remember his. Billy Ray Cyrus at 16, Kurt Russell at 15. Glenn Hoddle, don't know who that is. Hulk Hogan. I don't know if Hulk Hogan ever technically had a mullet. Having a mullet requires you to have hair on top of your head.
Hulk Hogan definitely had a mullet.
If you have a mullet, requires you to have business in the front and party in the back. Your
Right.
business can't have closed in the front. Your business can't have gone out of business, and then you have a party out back. That's not a mullet.
I still think you classify Hulk as...
No, he closed up shop. The whole point of the bandana was to hide the fact that his business went bankrupt.
I don't know why I found that so funny.
Miley Cyrus at 12. We got a couple of Cyruses in the top in the 10 through 20. Michael Bolton at 11. He had a classic one. It had its own little style.
Was Miley ahead of Billy Ray?
Yeah. Andre Agassi at 10.
Yeah.
He probably got the best sports mullet. Although David Hasselhoff is at 9, David Beckham is at 8. So David Beckham's mullet was better than Agassi's mullet? Who's Limahl at 7? Limahl.
How do you spell that?
Limahl. Limahl. God bless you.
Thank you.
At number 5, Chris Waddle. 4, Patrick Swayze. 3, Pat Sharp. 2, David Bowie. The number 1 celebrity mullet of all time. You'll get no argument. Rod Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
Rod Stewart, best celebrity mullet of all time. And
Lamal did the theme song to the Neverending Story.
all right,
He was
timeline checks out.
Lead singer of the pop group Kajagoogoo.
Oh, Kajagoogoo, yeah. All right, too shy. Kajagoogoo. Got to get to a break. We'll come back, finish it up for the morning here on In the Know.
Even when life is dark, one moment can change everything. That was beautifully illustrated in a social media post watched over 30 million times in just a few days. The video captures the moment that a marriage was rescued. In the video, Caitlin and her soon-to-be ex-husband are celebrating their 3-year-old son's birthday. The little boy's eyes light up when he sees his cake, covered with candles. Then Caitlin's husband looks into her eyes, and his eyes lit up with love for her. As the video rolls, Caitlin's words appear on the screen saying, "I could see his love for me all over his face. I had captured the exact moment when I knew we could save our marriage." And they did. Caitlin and her husband went to counseling and remain happily married, now with 2 children. If your marriage is in crisis, hope can be hard to find, but one moment can change everything. If you're willing to pursue reconciliation, even when the way forward isn't clear, then good things can happen. If you're considering divorce, even if you filed papers, programs like Focus on the Family's Hope Restored can be tremendously successful in helping you restore your relationship. We're experts at helping couples bring an end to conflict instead of an end to their marriage. Let us show you how to open the door to a whole new future for your family by building a marriage that thrives. Learn more about Hope Restored at FocusOnTheFamily.com. I'm Jim Daly.
We're entering a time of hostility against the faithful, a time when Christians are going to be tested on a moral, physical, and even financial basis unlike any other time in your life. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau, Christian author and evangelical leader, here to remind you that you are the one that has to take action to protect and steward the gifts that God has given you. For example, with record high inflation eating away at the dollar, many people's savings in retirement is going to start to evaporate. Fortunately, God always provides a way to fight back. To protect your retirement, I recommend that you diversify your 401k or IRA right out of paper assets and into physical gold. And the best way to do that is with Gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. Now, to see how it works, just text the word DIVINE, D-I-V-I-N-E, to 989898 to get a free info kit on Gold IRAs. There are no strings attached, so text DIVINE to 989898 right now, and I pray your family is blessed with continued prosperity.
1, 2, 3, 4. Get up, get on up, get up, get on up, stay on the scene.
MB's point to ponder for today. Have you noticed how people get more mad when you almost cause an accident than they do if you cause an accident? Yeah, you see somebody do something dumb in traffic and they're like, "You idiot!" But if you actually cause an accident, there's a level of fear or whatever.
Well, sure.
Yeah. No, I mean, I had the yell at someone moment yesterday who almost hit me.
You did. They almost hit you.
Yeah, no, and then of course you have to pull up next to the stoplight, right next to the person.
Yeah, of course.
And
yeah.
he rolls down his window and he starts like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and I'm like, "Yep, like I get it, like." Let's not make eye contact. Let's just move on with our days. You almost took me out.
I'll get in that spot, and somebody would be like, "Oh," and I hope the embarrassment or the adrenaline rush is just good enough. It's like I just move on.
Yep,
nobody's hurt. Let's just go on.
Yep.
No.
Yep. We were good.
Seemingly,
my horn told you how I felt.
It is good to apologize though. You say, "Hey, sorry, I'm a bonehead."
He did.
I was not,
and I was like,
not
okay.
paying attention,
Yep,
or I'm in.
You're good.
It's best just to own.
I was just ready for the red light to turn green now.
But you aren't. But there are those people that want to get mad at stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then, more importantly, they want to stay mad. But once everybody's all right, okay, all right, tense moment. Just let it go. You don't have to. There are those people that don't know when to shut up.
There's no question about that.
I was sad. I played a little bit of Sweet Home Alabama a while ago. I was saddened to hear that Gary Rosington, last original member of Lynyrd Skynyrd, went on in over the weekend at age 71. What's interesting is the guy from brother Kane that Rick and Bubba have such a great relationship with, Damon Johnson. He was on their show on Wednesday talking about how he has been filling in for Gary Rosington with Leonard Skinnard for the last couple of years. And last year he did 26 dates out of 45 shows. I think he did 26 of them where Gary Rosington, he couldn't travel because he didn't have fatigue and stamina to be able to do it. And he said, I'll probably do about 26 more this year. Well, just 3 days later, Gary Rosington goes on in, and now Damon Johnson will get all of the Leonard Skinnard dates in the coming year. I thought it was just, it was kind of weird. On television tonight, The Voice, season 23 premiere on NBC. This is Blake Shelton's last on The Voice, for those of you interested. The Bachelor is on ABC. On the Food Network's a season 9 premiere of the Spring Baking Championship.
Got a couple conference championships that you got to watch instead.
You know, you've got a really successful conference when your conference championship is on a Monday.
Well, listen,
of course, the national championship game's on a Monday.
Whatever you can do to get on ESPN, unlike Conference USA, who I think their championships on CBS Sports Network, but half their games are on I don't even know what.
Today's highlight in history: this date, 1944, heavy bombers staged the first full-scale American raid on Berlin during World War II. Oreo sandwich cookies were first introduced this date in 1912.
Was it Oreo Day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cassius Clay became Muhammad Ali this day in 1964. Mama call him Clay. 1981, Walter Cronkite signed off for the last time as principal anchorman of the CBS Evening News. And that's the way it is. March 6, 2023. Is my today in history stressing you out?
No, I'm just playing with it.
I got you.
I can't be still.
Nancy Reagan died this date in 2016.
You can no longer make fun of me now.
At age 94. Birthdays today, former Fed Chair Alan Greenspan is 97. Rob Reiner is 76. Meathead indeed. Kiki D is 76. Armin Katayan 70. Tom Arnold 64.
Isn't he little?
Tom Arnold?
Isn't he?
I don't think so. That factoid has escaped me my entire life, if that's true. D.L. Hughley is 60. Connie Britton is 56. You know her from Friday Night Lights and Nashville. She's been in some other stuff too.
Nope.
Shaq is 51 today. Gold Bond. Get some Gold Bond, Shaq. Tyler, the Creator, is 32. Gone but not forgotten. Michelangelo in 1475. Cyrano de Bergerac in 1619. Elizabeth Barrett Browning in 1806. Bob Wills in 1905. Ed McMahon in 1923. Willie Stargell in 1941. We are family. Oh, I'm sorry, Sam. I'm not supposed to mention Willie Stargell.
The Pirates are not as... I mean, I don't want them to win any games, but...
All right.
But you're not going to get fussy over it?
Yeah, I mean, there's some of the lesser of evils in that division.
I smell smoke in the auditorium.
The Coasters.
Charlie Brown.
Burn it into them.
Charlie Brown.
Burn it into them. 1959.
That Charlie Brown. He's gonna get caught. Just you wait and see.
Why is everybody always picking on me? Did neither of you all know that song?
I mean, I knew it.
yeah.
You just were into it, and I was letting you have the moment.
Oh, yeah. It's one's got hot sax in it. Plus, why is everybody always picking on me? 1968, the Classics 4. Alea would call this, well, she used to would call it Pookie. That's Pookie. Pookie, Classic 4, number 1 in 68.
First you say no.
Okay. Oh. That riff gives it away, doesn't it?
Goodness gracious.
Let's go to 1977. And Steve Miller.
My favorite album ever.
There are, I'm not saying there's only one. There are a handful. But this may be at the top of the list. Note to note, start to finish, maybe the best compilation album in rock and roll history. Like every song is just, you know, you wouldn't put them in any different order. Like you wouldn't say, oh, I wish this one was moved. Perfect order.
Yep.
Start the tape, let it go to the end,
Oh,
flip
so
it
I was
over,
gonna
come
say,
back.
pop in the disc.
Yeah. Oh, I have the disc too.
I'll go to iTunes and hit play.
Sometimes iTunes doesn't put them in the right order. You got to make sure you get them in the right order. Living with a Hernia, Weird Al, number 1. James Brown, Living in America, number 1 in 86. Brandy, number 1 with Baby in 95. Jessica Simpson with You in 04. Rihanna, Stay in 2013. And We Don't Talk About Bruno, number 1 a year ago today.
Are we still not talking about him?
You can whisper about him now. You can't full-throated talk about him, but you can start a whisper campaign about Bruno and you'll be okay at the moment. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today: whoever is happy will make others happy. Whoever is happy will make others happy. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today: remember, God loves you and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powering through the Twin Lakes with the best mix of music, news, weather,